Hello, my name is Eric Normand, and this is my vlog about my business called PurelyFunctional.tv, where I teach closure. I recorded about 20 minutes, maybe more, of video yesterday with my new headphones, and for some reason the audio cut out about halfway in. And so I just had to scrap it. You don't know that the audio's not working. That's the second pair of headphones that I'm trying to replace these. These are broken. The microphone works just fine. This earbud works just fine. This one is not working at all. And so I just thought you could just buy a pair of headphones that's highly rated on Amazon that claims to work on the iPhone, and you just can't. The second one, really, a lot of it has to do with the connection with the phone, the jack, and it just doesn't work. Like, it's in my pocket, and somehow it gets disconnected while I'm talking, and there's no way to know. I can hear it if I'm playing like a podcast on my headphones while the phone is in my pocket. I can hear, like, if I bend over a certain way, like, it disconnects or it pops a little. With those two both had that same problem. The other problem with the last one I had was this microphone thing was just in the wrong place, because it would bang against, like, if I have this zipper here, it would just constantly swing and bang against the zipper, and you just hear like this tuck, tuck, tuck during the whole time I was talking. So yesterday I bit the bullet and I just bought another pair of these from Apple directly, because these are so reliable. I mean, these are a few years old, so they broke, but I haven't had any trouble, and even when they're broken, they still work. So that is my headphone odyssey that I'm on. In the back of the car, I've got the lanyards from the conference. I finally got an email back from the guys at Room Key, and so I took the car this morning so I could bring these to the post office and mail them back. That'll get something out of the house, out of the office. The progress on the shelves, or the whole redoing of my studio, has been good. I spent all day yesterday on it. I thought I would be able to do something else, but I decided just to focus on it because I was getting a lot of stuff done. Trouble is, it's one of those things that, like, depends a lot on momentum. You start to make all these decisions while you're deciding where to put this thing, and whether you need to keep it, and what to do with this other thing. And then, so you got all these decisions built up, and then you go take a break, like you have dinner or something with the family, and then you want to just go work on it again, and like spend all night doing it while it's all fresh in your head and you're all motivated, and those decisions are kind of gelling together. But I decided not to do that. I just went to bed, got up early, just did my normal routine. I've got a lot of stuff going, and I need to protect those other things too. So one of the things that I've been thinking about now that I've got this studio project, it's been really good because I tend not to control my environment so much. I'm a little too easygoing, and let me be more blunt than that. I am very easygoing to a fault, and I put something somewhere and I make a note like, oh, I'll move this if I need to, and then I never do, and I just get used to it being there, and I work around it, and this reworking of my studio is, it's just like refactoring code. If you're a programmer, you know what that is, or you're like cleaning up your code. It's actually therapeutic to go through and like clean up your mess, figure out like what things do and why they're there, and whether you really need the thing, and remember, oh yeah, I had a system for this and I wasn't following it, and that's why this thing got into a mess. And asserting that control is therapeutic. It's like why we do art therapy. If you have some kind of traumatic experience, you do art therapy because it gives you a sense of control over a medium. You tap into your desires. What do I want this to be? And then you make it happen. You exert your will on a thing. And it's an inanimate thing, so it's it's a lot less complicated than exerting your will on others, which is something that you need to learn to do eventually, but it's a good stepping stone in that way. And so it's bringing up a lot of stuff for me, therapeutic stuff. It's therapeutic to actually finish it, but it's kind of emotional to do it in the moment. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's what I'm kind of coming to the conclusion to is that I really do need to focus more on content production, and I will be the expert content producer, and I just need a machine around me to do all the other stuff. And all that other stuff is like the marketing, the sales, the accounting. I just need to build that up around me. And that is going to take a lot of risk, because I can't afford to pay a full-time person, especially not a good person. And I know someone that I would love to work with, who challenges me, who perhaps needs to have a little bit more initiative, but I feel like if that's their only flaw, that this is the only flaw I've seen, that I could live with that. But I'm sure that I couldn't afford her. Not that she is like that expensive, I just don't make that much. I can barely pay for myself. But I really feel like this is the direction I need to go in to grow as a company, is to stop doing everything myself. Another thing is I reached out to someone I know who does WordPress development, and he also runs his own business and has been relatively helpful in the past, with sort of helping figure out the business stuff behind a desire to do. He does WordPress, so like before I had like this idea for doing WordPress stuff, and he was like, I think what you really need is to talk to this business coach. And I kind of appreciate that and kind of don't, but at this point, like, I've got these things on my plate of moving to LearnDash that has a real business goal, which is to get it off of my plate, So it's like I have this work to do to get other work off my plate. And if I could get him to do that instead, then it's satisfying a really important business goal, and so I want him to do that. Anyway, I haven't heard back from him, so I'm going to call him again today. Another thing is I've got a haircut today. I'm getting kind of shaggy, so I'm also going to use this opportunity to I have an appointment. It's at 11. It's 8:38 right now. I'm gonna work out of the house, outside the house today. I'm going to a coffee shop that's near the hairdresser, and I'll just be there working, being productive, working on my closure collections guide, which is coming along nicely. I worked on that on Tuesday, and I just went to a coffee shop, brought my iPad, typed on the iPad, sitting there with a coffee, double checking. I talked about this before, right? Like, it lost a lot of data before. Double checking on my phone that it was being saved to Dropbox. So it was, and so I just got a lot done just cranking that out, and that's been really good. So I want to get more progress on that while I'm at the coffee shop. People have been, so I did those reviews, some code reviews. I posted them to YouTube. The people who have gotten back to me about them said that they watched them and they really appreciated the advice I was giving. So they've also gotten, more views than I would have expected, 40 or 50 views. For someone else's code, that's pretty good. I don't think they'll do that well. Okay, another thing is, I've been doing thoughts on functional programming, which is kind of a half-assed attempt at a podcast, but a full-on attempt at typing less and capturing my thoughts so I can put them in a book that I'm writing. So I'm transcribing everything. And but one of my videos seemed to get a lot of traction on Reddit, a lot of people commenting, and that's interesting that's happening. It's certainly not one of my goals, but then I've been thinking, like, what is my goal? Like, if I was gonna hand it to someone else and say, like, okay, make this big, like, or make this X. What is X? What is my goal for X? And the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I'm really doing it for myself, and then just saying, well, it's kind of I'm just kind of publishing my rough drafts on stuff. What else could it be besides just random thoughts that I have? So it's just kind of like a daisical right now. My assistant was in the hospital. I'm not sure why. He was feeling sick. That's all I know, and they rushed him to the hospital. He doesn't have air conditioning, and it's supposedly really hot in the Philippines right now. I kind of think that's what it was, that he just got sick from being so hot and not being able to sleep well because it was too hot. Anyway, he seems to be better now. I want to have a talk with him because I asked him to figure out how to publish something to publish a podcast to iTunes, and he wrote up a document, and it's kind of okay. I mean, basically what he did was he summarized the blog post I sent him, and I guess I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting him to take the blog post, take the tips, figure out the tips that should apply to us, and write out a plan. Not just the tips that when a website about podcasts posts a blog post about how to publish your podcast, it's mostly tips, right? There's a couple of things that are like required, and then it's like, and do a contest and publish 3 things at the same 3 episodes, at the same time and get on a regular schedule. And like those are tips. It's not the technical details. So I noticed that this is a problem. Like, did I not communicate clearly, or is this an opportunity for training? Because if I want him to be handling the podcast, like he needs to come up with a real plan, not just here's what this blog post says we should do. Like, that could be good information, but what are you actually going to do? Right? So, I need to have a talk with him. And also, I need, like part of me is like, well, I don't even know what my podcast should be. Right? Just like I said, I don't know what the goals are. And so he can't either. He can't know that. I still haven't figured out how to get these photos off of my phone safely without totally hosing my. I need to just stop using iCloud. That's what it is. I think I don't want to delete it from one device and have it deleted everywhere. I want it off of my phone. That's all. It should be so common. I don't understand why it's such a problem. Anyway, I had a whole spiel yesterday that got lost because my microphone sucks. All right, I think that's enough talking right now. I'll see you later. Bye.